I'm Diego Sanchez, COO of HW Media, and this is 10-Minute Talks. My guest today is Anthony Casa, CEO of UMortgage. Anthony, welcome to 10-Minute Talks.
Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this. I've been watching every week when you post this, so it's great to be part of it.
I'm so glad to have you on the show. Been looking forward to this conversation. Before we dive in, could you give a 30-second introduction of yourself and UMortgage?
Absolutely. So, I've been in the mortgage business for 20 years. Spent the first half of my career as a loan originator, second half as leading a mortgage brokerage, which was Garden State Home Loans, which is top broker in the country. Trade association called AIM, which stands for Association of Independent Mortgage Experts, which is a phenomenal organization currently led by Katie Sweeney. And UMortgage is the company I started 3 years ago. We're a nationwide mortgage platform, non-delegated correspondent. We have over 500 team members. We've grown by 300% over the last year, and we're on pace to do about $3 billion in volume. So, all purchase business and very much focused on local loan originators.
Yeah, you've really been growing like a weed since you founded the company. It's really exciting to watch, especially during a difficult housing market. What's your secret sauce to growing so much over the past year?
I think, well, number one, this was the plan. So, we spent the first year and a half building the business focused on capitalizing on this market. We didn't realize this market would be as challenging as it is, but challenging markets are opportunity markets. And we very much were focused on taking advantage of these opportunities. And what I know about, I've been doing this for 20 years. I think I consider myself a subject matter expert on loan originators. This is all I've done. And loan originators, when they're busy and the market's good, they're not spending a lot of time looking around. So it's very hard to recruit them. It's very hard to, get them to join your company. Tough market. There's less loans in the pipeline, and everybody's sort of paying attention. So it's a lot easier to attract. It's a lot easier to differentiate in a market like this, because winning and growing stands out in a market where everybody's shrinking.
Absolutely. And your LinkedIn presence is pretty focused on recruiting and the success of UMortgage. But at times you can really mix it up with folks and be fairly combative. What is your LinkedIn strategy?
I think there's two points of just overall like social media strategy, but LinkedIn specifically, I think LinkedIn is a great opportunity. Like, to me, as we've scaled our company, I've learned that it's a lot harder for me to get the attention of my team members internally. Like, it's noisy. We have trainings, we have huddles, we have different things going on. So they're only sort of paying attention a little bit. So where I do know they pay attention is on social media, and they follow everything I do on social media. So, I take advantage of driving home, the things that matter, our vision, our culture, our values, all that good stuff, and making sure we share our wins there. To me, when it comes to competition and when it comes to, sparring with our competitors, I just have a mentality that, I know for sure that none of our competitors are rooting for us to succeed. None of the minute we falter, the minute we have any setbacks, they're going to jump on us. So to me, I like sparring. I like being combative. I like showcasing how much we're winning in this market. It's very hard to win in this market. It's very hard to grow in this market. So winning is not, a given. It's something that is the byproduct of a lot of hard work, a great leadership team that we have here, and execution on everything that we put as a plan to come into this market. So our competitors are shrinking. They're going backwards. A lot of them have kind of taken the approach of survival mode. I don't think there's any market where you can't grow. I think, the one thing we know is going to be a $1.7 trillion year. I believe you guys published the other day. That's a great year in the mortgage industry. And as a $3 billion originator, there's no reason we can't grow by 100 or 200% in this market. There's plenty of market share to go around, but you got to go out and get after it. So, my job on LinkedIn is, I got to lead my organization. I have to set the tone. I have to make sure people get out of bed in the morning and they're motivated and positive. If I let them listen to the industry headlines or the headwinds, they're not going to be positive. They're not going to be motivated, but I want them to see we're going to dominate by leading the charge.
I imagine that can-do attitude that you have and that you display fairly prominently in your social channels attracts LOs and branch managers to UMortgage. What else do you think is attracting those top producers to the UMortgage brand?
Yeah, I think number one is leadership. I will say, and it's not just my leadership; it's leadership within our sales ranks as well. Right now, it's quiet out there, and I think a lot of loan originators have like the commonality I've heard over the last 18 months is they don't see their leaders a lot. There's not a lot of communication internally, so strong, decisive leadership in a market where there's a lot of uncertainty, they like. That's one thing. Two, culture does matter, and to me, it's like we have got a great culture. We're not just a loan originator company. We really have a special company here. It's something that we did while I was at AIM is we built a community, and when you have a community that is aligned around values and a vision, you get a lot of buy-in, and that's what we've done here as well. So they really enjoy that. And then realistically, the vision of doing it differently, being we're not a broker, we're also not a retail lender. We're different. We have a modern tech stack. We're leading with culture. We believe in no overrides and no middle management, and that's different. And it's something that's very appealing for a lot of them. I think we're still new to a lot of people, so they're trying to see, hey, is this gonna work long term? But the more success we have, the more great loan originators we attract, the broader our audience becomes.
My sense from following your content on social, and also from my personal interaction with you at different events, is that there's a little bit of a friendly competition that's happening amongst the leaders at UMortgage. How do you create that culture of like friendly competition as opposed to like sharp elbows competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is competition. It starts with like visibility. So we have internally, everything's a scoreboard, everything's a dashboard. So like our leaders, our corporate leaders that are not in sales, they're competing. They're competing on deliverables and projects that are getting the sign off to be the priority for the quarter. They're getting, they're selling, what special value add that they want to add, and competing against each other to present it to leadership and our sales leadership for sign off. Our salespeople are competing for growth, and that's kind of hard to imagine. It's like a year ago, a lot of our groups were sheltering down. Right now, they're competing to recruit. They're competing on how many funded loans per LO. They're competing on how many new partners they can get weekly and quarterly. So you got to create that competition. You got to create that visibility. And I I'm kind of a master coach too. Like, I'm the guy that, in the dashboard, when I see the updated scoreboard for the week, I call the guy who was number one last week and I say, hey man, like, a lot of the guys are talking. Is everything okay at home? Just want to see, are you going to rebound for this? You got to needle people and get them, woken up. This is an industry where people make a lot of money. So like, it's easy to not focus on growing and being great every week. And I'm very grateful that we've created that environment. I've also really emphasized with our people, and this is a big one, is we've got 150 corporate team members. We don't want to have to lay off anybody. We want to focus on growing. And I help everybody understand they have an obligation. Like that extra loan per month pays a salary. And if we don't bring in that extra loan, then we have to shrink. So I really do make sure we share that responsibility. It's easy to be like the chips are down and we're gonna shrink. When people start to realize how it impacts families and all those things, then they start to say, okay, I am going to work a little bit extra. It's not, it's not just about me. It's about the greater good of the team.
I love that, stepping away a little bit from that feast or famine that we see so much with mortgage lenders.
Absolutely, and right now more than anything, I think people. I was watching an interview that you did recently with on one of these 10-minute talks, and somebody said specifically, I think it was Alec Hansen, he did a great job, and he was talking about, people, you take out 2020, 2021, and you look at this year, and it's a great year. This would have been a great year before those years. And it's a mindset issue that this industry has, and it's kind of a set of dominoes where once, the media or once the leaders say it's going to be a bad year, everybody kind of shuts it down. It's not a bad year. It's a great year. There's challenges, just like there's challenges in every market. And, difficulty has never been an excuse for not showing up to work every day. You got to sell, you got to bring in money for HousingWire. You got to put a strategy for growth together. Clayton is not accepting Diego saying, hey, we're not going to grow in the fourth quarter. We're not going to do this. Like he's going to say, Diego, it's either, we get it done or we don't get it done. And that's how we think about things too.
So you acquired Tyler Hodgson's NXT Mortgage at the end of 2022. Are you planning for more inorganic growth, or is your growth strategy more focused on organic opportunities, or maybe it's both?
I think the case of Tyler, like he's a very unique entrepreneur. He's a Marine veteran. He built the number one brokerage in Texas. He's a former CPA. He's a great business leader, and he's a big part of what we're doing. We acquired NXT as much for the volume that they were doing for him personally as a leader. If the opportunities come up, we're going to take them. But it really comes down to those individuals leading the company. That's what we're buying. We're buying the leadership. The volume, we can go out and recruit. We can acquire the volume organically, and we feel very good that that's like the best path. But realistically, there's not too many Tyler Hodgsons on this, in this world, and let alone in this business. So, if it comes up, we'll shoot our shot. But we're focused on organic growth.
Amazing, Anthony. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, and keep up the great work.